Hey, what is up, everybody? I'm Chance, and we are back for another episode of Our Life Beginnings and Always, part 11. Let's do it. Alright, so, last time, we ended up talking to our cousin, I believe, who's in town, and it's summer vacation, and then Cove found out that his mom is like going to be living with them for a little bit, and it's crazy. A lot happened, but it's fine. We're gonna keep moving forward. We're gonna see what happens. So let me stop talking and let's just go. Let's just do this. Oh crap, that's right. So what I think we're going downstairs. You put on your slippers, you checked yourself in the mirror, you made your bed, you just left. Let's put on our slippers. Because we have slippers. You knew it was summer, but your slippers were comfy and cozy and made you feel better whenever you wore them. You took to the stairs, slowly attempting to mask your face into a look of innocence. You were sure that someone would have come into your room if they had heard anything strange, but you couldn't be too careful. You had to play it cool. Yeah, we do. God, Elizabeth. When you stepped into the living room, Elizabeth was there, tapping her finger on the counter. Good morning, Elizabeth. She looked you over immediately, her eyes squinting at the greeting. Why are you being so weird? You hadn't even done anything. Your big sister never missed a beat, unfortunately. We didn't play it cool enough. We should have just walked in there and not said a thing. You turned and offered a tight smile, and her lips pursed together even tighter. Jamie. You shrugged it off. You clammed up. Wouldn't you like to know? Sorry. You excitedly blurted it out. You folded. Oh no, what are we going to do? You know what? Let's do what I said originally. Let's just be like, we're playing it cool. Nothing happened. We don't want to get Cove in trouble. I mean, I told on Elizabeth before, so I know she'll probably want to tell on me. I'm not. You spoke so nonchalantly you almost thought she believed you. Dang it. But you knew better. Further suspicious squinting occurred as she waited for something. But ultimately, she rolled her eyes and you weren't sure if you were in trouble or not. She didn't seem to care enough to dig any further. Okay. Whatever. And then she walked straight out of the front door, letting it slam shut behind her, and you let out a brief sigh. Elizabeth went out most days to hang out with her friends from school around town. Today, you were extra glad for it, though you were also grateful she hadn't left the house any sooner and risked running into Cove. Fair point. It looked like you were getting away with that. Good. Breakfast was eaten in peace and alone. Your moms were both out by the time you had gotten up. They had left you a serving of food from the breakfast they made. Hash browns, an omelet, fruit salad, and there were a few sausage links. You took a little bit of everything. You passed on some parts because they weren't things you liked. You passed on some parts because you were trying to avoid meat. You passed on some parts because you were trying to avoid animal products. Oh. Let's be vegetarian. Let's do it. We're trying to avoid meat. Your parents still made most of the food choices in the house, but they've worked on accommodating you since you started talking about becoming a vegetarian. You added some extra things not from their breakfast to your meal too, but the parts you did have were tasty. The day lazily drifted by. You pulled open the fridge again, lingering in the frosty air for a moment or two before grabbing a bottle of ice-cold water and taking a long drink. It was a perfect, balmy summer afternoon. You had decided to head outdoors and find something to do. You hadn't decided what that something was just yet, but you were sure something would pop up to occupy your time. As you were heading out the front door, you paused for a moment. You hadn't seen Cove since he had left that morning, and you couldn't help but think about what happened to him. Would it be bad to go over to his house right now, or to call him to check in? You stepped out of your house, still stuck in an eternal debate with yourself, when a voice caught your attention. Hi, Jamie. Confused, you looked over to where an unrecognizable woman was waving at you, a friendly smile plastered on her face. You racked your memory for where you might have seen her before, but nothing came to mind. Not your school, or from the country club your moms took you to. A country club? Dang. Oh, yeah, I guess that's where we went for Elizabeth's golf stuff. I remember. You had absolutely no idea who the woman was. The woman crossed the road towards you, and you were a little unsure whether you should stay put or go back into the house and lock the door. Wait. Okay, wait. So there's two potential things here. Is this Cove's mom already? Or is this that Jeremy kid's mom? Green hair. We're gonna find out. Oops, I'm sorry. Was that presumptuous? I've heard about you, but you have no idea who I am, do you? It's the mom! It's the mom! She's a cool tattoo. The eyes, you could tell, the eyes. You shook your head and she removed her sunglasses to reveal sparkly ocean blue eyes. All of a sudden, she seemed a little more familiar. How? How did she get here so fast? I thought they were just talking about it. My son lives here, and my ex too. Okay. With a bent smile, she lifted a hand to point at the condo across the street from your own house. She was Cove's mom. How did you get here? You didn't know why you hadn't realized sooner, now that you'd gotten a good look at her. She seemed nice. She seemed sort of strange. I mean, I'm automatically going with strange. She looked really young, that too. It made sense that she was Cove's mom. She felt so different to Cove. She was super pretty. Like, I want to say she seems strange because she just, like, walks up. But I think she's being friendly, so we're not going to go there. We're going to go with she was super pretty. Because we don't know enough about her yet, other than the immediate. So that's what we're going to say. This beautiful lady was Cove's mother? Wow. It's kind of weird. No matter your thoughts on her, you still felt taken aback that she had appeared here so suddenly. Cove mentioned she was coming, but you hadn't gotten the impression it would be the very next day. She extended a hand again, this time for you to take. No! And you studied the manicured fingers in front of your face and the assortment of bracelets that dangled from her wrists. Ooh, Kyra or Kira? We're gonna go Kira. I'm Kira Priest. You can call me Kira. You shook her hand. You didn't shake her hand. Okay, yeah, we're gonna shake her hand. We're nice. You reached out and took her hand, and she shook yours firmly, grinning wide. I'm Jamie, but you already knew that. That I do. Cove's mentioned you to me before. It's nice to officially meet you, Jamie. Cove talked to you about his mom. He hadn't mentioned how he said things about you to her. What has Cove said about me? What are you doing here? Nice to meet you too. You kept quiet. We're just gonna say, I want to know this, but we're not gonna be that kind of kid. We're just gonna say nice to meet you too. She smiled at you fondly, her eyes crinkling at the corners. Cove! The sound of a door opening and closing caught both of your attentions. And when you turned towards the sound, it was to find Cove exiting his house, his eyes skimming the ground. Considering just how tall he had grown, you kind of figured his mom also would have been tall. But she was much more on the shorter side, for an adult anyway. Cove's height must have come from his father. There you are! I thought you were going to keep me standing out here all day. Oh no, they're going shopping or something? You tried to catch Cove's eyes as he walked towards you, but his gaze was firmly fixed on the sidewalk. When he finally crossed the road and looked up, he gave you a pitiful look. After the way he had acted last night, you knew he must be feeling pretty mixed up about this. You tried to wordlessly express that you understood. Cove and I are heading into town to grab something to eat while the snore is at work. Oh no! Is she like one of those moms that like go nuts? Kira beamed at Cove and ruffled his hair, which only seemed to upset him more. You assumed the snore she was talking about was Mr. Holden. Is it bad that like I already have like predetermined judgments towards her because of I guess my perception of how Cove and Cove's dad exited all of that and how he got full custody and all this stuff? I feel a little bit bad. Hey, you should come with us, Jamie. I'd love to get to know you better. Yeah, you should come. There was a pleading in his tone that you couldn't miss. Of course we'll run it by your parents first, responsibly and all that. It'll give me an excuse to meet them, which I need to do at some point. It's important to be neighborly if I'm going to be roosting on this street for the time being. Any hoosies, let's go. Kira walked ahead towards your house, and you hung back with Cove, who crinkled his nose as he watched her. I'm sorry about her, but I really do want you to come. I don't want it to be just the two of us. Not right now. You leaned in closer and whispered, while checking around for anyone who might hear. What happened? Did your dad know you were gone? Cove shook his head and sighed heavily. Dad was so focused on Mom showing up that he didn't even notice. I thought when I heard them on the phone last night that it was something they were planning for the future. This morning, Dad said it was supposed to be a surprise, and I guess I was surprised. She's gonna be here all summer. Oh. You were surprised to hear that too. Cove sighed again, even heavier. I'll go with you if you really want me to. He smiled, his shoulders relaxing a little in relief. Thanks. That'd be cool. The two of you headed over to where Cove's mom had just knocked on your front door and stood behind her. My mom looks so done. Mom answered the door after a minute, her eyebrows lifting in surprise at the group she found in front of her. You realize that, like you, she would have no idea that it was Cove's mom who was hanging with you. However, after blinking at the woman a couple of times and looking between her and Cove, the realization seemed to strike on her. Hello there, I'm Pamela. I see you've met my kid, Jamie, and I'm guessing you've already known Cove for a while. Kira laughed and you and Cove exchanged looks at your parents' weird sense of humor. I'm Kira Priest, Cove's mom. It's so nice to meet you. A head of purple-brown hair caught your eye as Ma popped up behind Mom, squeezing herself in beside her. We have company. I was wondering what all the commotion was. She grinned excitedly at Kira. The two of them introduced themselves and shook hands. Hi, Jamie. Cove. Cove smiled at Moss shyly and she gestured a hand towards the living room. There's no use hanging around in the doorway. Why don't you come in? I'd love to, but I promised to take my son out to eat, and I wouldn't want to hold you up with a surprise visit. I understand. You're welcome to stop by anytime.
Of course.
I'll take you up on that offer when I can. Count on it. What? Oh. I hit a button. Would you mind too much if Jamie went with Cove and I? My treat. We won't be driving, just a quick walk down the road. Sure, that sounds nice.
Have fun.
I hope you all have fun. You gave your moms a look and they smiled at you fondly. You were happy they were letting you go. You were annoyed they agreed just like that. So, Chance feels a little strange that it's like, oh, we're just meeting this person. It's fine. But we're going to be happy that they were letting us go because Cove wants us there. So, you could tell that Cove really needed the support and you were ready to be there for him. Exactly. Marvelous. I expect us back in an hour or two. We look forward to seeing you again. Take care. Your parents waved goodbye to the three of you as you backed up onto the street. There was the sound of the front door closing behind you. I'm pretty positive I saw some restaurants when I was in the taxi not too far from here. Yeah, it's a tourist town, isn't it? There's a lot of them around. It was kind of strange to see Cove give someone this much attitude. If he wasn't in the mood to be nice, he generally just kept to himself. Kira put her hands on her hips and smiled at her son. Well, you sound like the area expert. You have any recommendations for a place nearby? Not really. Kira pouted at him a little and turned to you instead. How about you, Jamie? Want to point me in the right direction? You shrugged, not really. Sure, I have a couple favorites. You nodded. Sure, we're gonna be helpful. We have a couple favorites. You'd been to a lot of places in town, and there were a couple that stood out from all the rest. There's a Chinese restaurant that me and my family go to all the time. It's my mom's favorite. There's also a tropical themed place that tries to be sort of fancy. Both sound like a treat. I'll leave it to you to pick for us, since Cove is going through a phase over there. Oh my god. He huffed at her and turned his face away. The Chinese restaurant, the tropical themed place, you insisted Cove contribute to the decision. You insisted Kira decide. We're gonna decide. We're just gonna go ahead and make this super easy, sweet, and to the point. We're gonna go with the tropical themed place because tropical.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie. Will you show us the way? You nodded, taking the lead of your little group as Cove and his mom followed behind you. Together, the three of you left the neighborhood behind. I'm like the mediator in this. It's kind of funny. The walk was about 15 minutes, and along the way, Kira asked a lot of questions about the area. Cove was quiet most of the time, so you ended up answering her instead. Kira explained she lived in a large city, and she loved how peaceful and relaxing everything seemed in Sunset Bird. The restaurant was busy as usual, but luckily you were shown right to a small table. Kira lowered herself into the chair, while Cove picked the one diagonal to her, not facing her, or to her side. It was awkward. Ahem. Let's see. To start, what would you all like to drink? I feel so bad for her. I want to know what happened. I'll get an orange soda. Noted. Jamie? Just water, soda, milk, juice, coffee. Chance would choose coffee. We're not gonna go there because we are in middle school? I don't know. We're just gonna go with just water. Something else I would do. Lemon or anything? There's sugar on the table. Lemon sounds good. Sure. Kira placed the order for your drinks, getting a black hot coffee for herself, and it didn't take long before they were brought to the table and set in front of you. You took a long sip of your drink as you looked around the restaurant. Your small group checked over the menus, deciding what to order. The last time you came here, the dish you ordered was amazing. You wanted to order something different this time. Kira and Cove didn't need any encouragement for this. They were totally focused on the information in front of them. Soon, the meals too were ordered and the menus taken away. You glanced at the table's surface, waiting to figure out what to say. Cove sunk back further into his seat and avoided eye contact. He started to twiddle his thumbs while acting like all this was perfectly normal. His sour feelings today were unignorable. Instead of asking more open questions, he'd brush her off. Kira had mercy on her son and instead put her focus towards you. So, Jamie, what's a few things that you're into? There's gotta be something you do for fun, especially now that you're not buried in school assignments. I like to read, I like to watch, games are fun, I like to play, I hang out with people, I go to the beach, and I'm into sports like music, I spend time on art, I write things, I spend time studying fashion. I'm really into Cove. Oh, this is interesting. So, I wonder if we can become like a marine biologist or something if we keep going down like the path of like beach kid mixed with studying. We're gonna say I go to the beach and build sandcastles, swim, look for seashells, I like that, walk along the shore, go surfing, and I have to go to the beach and we're gonna say look for seashells, because I think that's kind of like, I don't know why I'm hooked on looking at things, but yeah. I keep the best ones I find for my collection. I'm sure it's an incredible collection. Okay, cool. We can say, okay, I get it. All right, we like to go swimming. You must be a strong swimmer since you live so close to the ocean. I find the water a little scary, but I still like to dip my toes sometimes. We're gonna say build sandcastles, because that's what we did. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'm gonna say go surfing, because that'd be cool too. Oh, do you and Cove surf together? Yes. Kira looked at Cove expectantly, who mumbled something non-committally and looked away again. And I still spend time studying. I think that's where we're gonna go. Studying in the summer? I have to admit, I don't know a lot of people who enjoy that, but hard work is the key to getting what you want in life. I like to read fiction novels, comic books, manga, magazines, non-fiction books, poetry, and we're gonna say fiction novels, because way back near like in the first episode we mentioned about mermaids or something like that, so for sure. Me too, nothing beats curling up with a good book. Non-fiction books. I'll bet you know about a lot of things then. And we'll go with manga for fun. I haven't heard of that style, but I'm sure it's very good. And I'm into sports like I hang out with people. Hey, it's nice to have friends and family to spend time with. Oh my god, I can almost like click on all these, I feel. I like to watch... Sure. I like to play board games, video games, card games, video games. I don't know much about them. Maybe you can show me sometime. No! Board games, yes. That's great. We should play a game together sometime. She's like trying to be super nice. We are not saying I'm really into Cove. I'm into sports like... let's see. Tennis, volleyball, golf, basketball. Type in your own sport to play. All of them, generally. Watching them. And Let's see. Well, what I like and what Jamie likes is something different. So let's think. The Olympics? Volleyball was in there, so I'm gonna be stupid if I click volleyball. Or if I type in volleyball. We don't like golf. Was football in there? So I was gonna say MMA, because that's what I like. But this is to play. This is to play. This is to play. This is to play. So it can't be MMA. It's not gonna be MMA. Heck, let me go backwards. Baseball. What sports are there? Hey Alexa, name some sports.
I know about a number of sports including baseball, cricket, handball, ice hockey, and tug of war.
Street hockey. We're gonna do street hockey. I play street hockey. It's great. That was too complicated. All right, let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. Music, we'll say. Oh, shoot. Oh, God. I keep forgetting. I keep thinking this is things that Jimmy would like. I listen to a lot. That's what we'll say. I have an MP3 player at home that my mom helped me put some music on, and I've seen some concerts. Awesome. All right, we're going to be done. We're going to be done. We're going to be done. And that's it. Thanks. I'm happy to learn more about you. There's so much I hadn't heard. Cove leaves the details out. So what exactly did Cove say about me? We're just gonna go ahead and go there, okay. Kira laughed, holding a hand in front of her mouth. I can't tell you that. I didn't come all this way to embarrass my son. Too much. Kids are delicate at this age. She laughed again, and you glanced at Cove to see his reaction. He was trying not to pay attention, but you could tell he was uncomfortable. Hoping it would clear some of the tension in the air, you decided to ask Kira a few questions of your own. Cove hadn't told you much about her, and you were curious to know more about this woman who was such a big part of his life. What exactly do you do for work? I'm a travel writer for magazines and things. I keep people in the loop on what's worth seeing. It's good work. That's cool. So, I think she wanted to keep traveling, and Mr. Holden wanted to settle down. That's what I'm thinking. Because she called him a snooze. Wow. What do you like to do? Where do you live normally? Are you in a new relationship now? Why did you and Mr. Holden get divorced? Are we going to ask all these questions? Are we going to be brave? Where do you live normally? Nevada. Have you ever been there? You shook your head. It's a beautiful place. Check it out, if you can. What do you like to do? Spend time with my little boy, of course. And traveling. A real shock, huh? Y'all, I don't know. I'm nervous to ask this because I don't want to embarrass Cove. Do we want to do it? Do we want to do it? You know what? Let's just ask one. We're gonna ask one, okay? Which one do we want? Are you in a new relationship now? Why did you and Mr. Holden get divorced? Let's ask the first one because I feel like that's a little bit better. Are we gonna ruin everything? Kira brushed the question off lightly. Not at present. Okay. We're not gonna ask that last one. You couldn't bring yourself to ask another question. It didn't seem to bother her that the conversation dropped off. Cove sipped his soda angrily, slurping up the remaining drink with furrowed brows. He looked ready to run straight out of the restaurant. You weren't sure if coming along had ended up making the lunch better or worse. You made a silly face at him. You smiled at him. You gave him a sympathetic look. You flicked his straw wrapper at him. You left him alone. You flicked his straw wrapper at him. He's probably not gonna like it, but We're being playful. The grabber hit Cove on the nose. You had to bite down on your lip to keep from laughing. It took a couple of moments, but finally he cracked a smile, and that made you feel a little lighter inside. You two seem really cute together. How much have you said, Cove? Cove covered his face with his hands and leaned back in his seat. Mom, why would you say that? You felt bothered too. You blushed. Thanks, we are cute. You just laughed. I'm just gonna laugh. That was definitely unexpected, and there didn't seem to be any other way you could react. Your meals were delivered shortly after that, and everything was so delicious. Even Cove enjoyed his food. Alright, now that we're all full and content, can you explain, please, why you've had a bug up your butt all day? With me here? Cove's face scrunched at that. Seriously, baby? What did Mom do to make you this mad? I haven't even been around a full day yet. He gripped the edge of the table, refusing to make eye contact. The words he spoke were barely audible over the din of the restaurant. You could have told me. She leaned forward to not miss anything else, eyebrows raised. Told you what? He finally seemed to find his voice and spoke the thoughts that had been on his mind. That I wasn't going to visit you this year. That you were going to be coming instead. Didn't you invite me? You wanted me here with you? Cove's eyes began to shake and his frustration ebbed. I do want you to be around, but I didn't know it'd be like this. It's not the same and nobody said anything. I see. Her expression grew tense. She threaded her fingers together and placed her hands in front of her on the table. We've both been gifted another Clifford surprise. Referring to that as a Clifford surprise almost caused both you and Cove to crack a smile. You also had no idea his name wasn't just Cliff. Over 5 years, nobody had ever called him Clifford until now. She smoothed her hair out, not letting go her stern look. The more things change, the more they stay the same. They let out identical sighs, but smiled weakly at one another afterwards. I can go home, Cove. We can still set up a normal trip to my place before the summer ends. Cove's lips tightly closed together. He seriously pondered the option. I think I do want you to stay. I miss it when you're not there. My heart. She reached across the gap, grabbed his face, and planted a kiss on his cheek. Cove tried to wiggle away. Mom, stop! I'm sorry. Sweet young men need to be smooched by their parents. If I don't, they'll take away my mom license. Kira, okay, I think I'm warming up to her. I kind of feel like maybe the dad and mom just had different parenting styles. Maybe. Kira was completely enthused by Cove's admission, though a tone of seriousness did return to her voice when the conversation continued. Do you want to talk to your dad too? No. Cove had snapped the word instantly, but reeled his annoyance back in just as quickly. Maybe later, not today. I understand. We can shelve it. Thanks, Mom. Thank you for talking to me, little mister. She grinned affectionately at him before turning your way. And thank you, Jamie. Huh? What did I do? It's easy to act like a baby with your mom. It's hard to keep that up with your neighbor watching everything. Especially when you really care about what said neighbor thinks of you. She done did it. She winked. Mom! She just ruffled his hair with a laugh, then moved her hand down to tap the end of his nose. And that was how the issue was resolved. At least between Cove and his mom. When the three of you left the restaurant and Kira had paid the bill, you walked back to your neighborhood slowly. You had eaten so much by that time, you were beginning to feel sleepy. It didn't help that lunch had happened late and the sun was already beginning to descend from the sky. Look at Mr. Holden! Clifford, dude. But eventually you reached your street. Someone was there to greet your group upon arrival. Welcome back, family. And Jamie, too. Cliff. Dad. Oh god. The two walked past him into the condo without sparing another word. Despite the summer heat, their shoulders were cold. Uh-oh. I'm in trouble. He rubbed the back of his neck with a crooked smile, but his eyes were soft and he looked on after them. He's so much like his mom, don't you think? You gave a vague nod, not sure what he was expecting you to do. He nodded back, far more energetically. Okay. Have a nice night, Jamie. You too, Mr. Holden. With that, Cove's dad disappeared to join the others inside. It was your turn to go home now. Summer hadn't started off at all how you imagined it would have, though it turned out to set the tone well. Having Kira in the neighborhood was a new experience for not only you and Cove, but also both your families, and a dull moment was rarely had. Boom! And we made it to the new Step 2 selection page. That was really cute. I think I'm feeling a little bit differently about his mom now. I don't know what's happened with them. I'm kind of hoping that we figure it out over the course of maybe this step or maybe the next steps. We'll see. I don't know. But that was really cute. I'm excited to see what all of these are going to be. Wave, growing, family, dinner, road trip. All of those sound really, really cool. Especially the dinner one, because right now I'm super hungry. So on that note, if you liked what you saw here today, go ahead and hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment on how you feel about Cove's mom. I think I like her. I don't want to like her prematurely, but I think I like her. And if you want to keep seeing more stuff, go on ahead and hit that red subscribe button down below. Thank you guys, and bye.